because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
Washington has a war criminal in it. Lord have mercy on his soul. His name is Pentagon Pete. He's gonna be tried, oh so. We hope, right? We can see that and so much more on today's Karel Cast.
Uncensored, unfiltered, unhinged. It's the Karel Cast. Listen daily on your favorite streaming service.
It is the Karel Cast. I am Karel. Happy Monday, December 1st. World AIDS Day, in spite of the United States not wanting to participate. Thus the term world. The rest of the world is participating. And so much going on. It's the holiday season. It's officially in full swing. It is December, the last month of the year. There's only 31 days until the new year. A lot is going on. We're going to talk about it today. And this week and next with you right here in the Karel Cast. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And, of course, without you patrons at patreon.com/reallykarel, I just wouldn't exist. I wouldn't even be here. So did you have a good holiday weekend? Did you have a good Thanksgiving? I haven't talked to you since Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I had a great one. Steve and I went to Crossroads Kitchen. Wonderful, wonderful place here in Las Vegas, where they play 70s white people rock, and they had a great buffet and a lion's mane mushroom that made me want to slap somebody. It was so good. I don't know how they make that lion mane mushroom taste the way that they do, but dear God, it was like the best dark meat turkey you just ever had. And it was so good. It was just so good. Steve had a good time. I had a good time. A good time was had by all, so I hope that you had a good time on your Thanksgiving as well. I felt compelled, like the power of Santa compels me. I felt compelled over the holiday weekend to put up my Christmas stuff. So yesterday, for some reason, I found myself putting on Christmas carols, putting up a tree, 2 trees. I actually have a little one. I have one this big, and then I have a regular tree. Oh, and then I have a tree out front. 3 trees, various shapes and sizes. A wreath on the door that's decorated, and lights on the balcony. Oh, 4 trees, because my pencil cactus, I decorated that too. Listening to Christmas carols, singing along. And it was funny because I said, you're not expecting company. Like, you might be the only one to see your Christmas decoration. So why bother? And I said, because you frickin' deserve it. Because even if you're the only one to see all of your Christmas stuff, you love your Christmas stuff. I have ornaments from my mother. I have ornaments that Jake and Heather made. Every ornament means something. I don't have just ornaments. Every ornament means something. And so I put it up. Hopefully someone else will see it. And listen to the music. And, Mariah Carey's here in town doing her Christmas show. And Christmas Black Friday happened. Today is Cyber Monday. I bought some shoes over the weekend that were 50% off. It's time to replace. I have 6 pairs of walking tennis shoes, hiking and walking, 3 pairs of hiking, walking, and 3 pairs of running. And it's time to replace them because I put, on average, about 2,000 miles a year on my shoes. And broken up, that's about 400 miles per pair. So I wear a lot of, I wear out shoes. There were good sales on Hoka and Morel, so I went and got some. But, I have to tell you, with the holidays come the holiday melancholy. I don't know, maybe you guys don't get it, but I do. And the introspection and all of that. Looking forward to the new year. Like you, I want changes. I want a better life. I want more income. I want more freedom, which the income will bring. That all means a bigger show or more shows or different kind of shows or revenue streams. And I'm excited to do those, but also scared as AI takes over more and more of the music industry, the entertainment industry, almost any industry. So like you, I look ahead and I have some trepidation. I have some melancholy about how to get what I want from the future in the ever-changing world. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think all of us, if we're in above 50, are looking at the world ahead and going, you know, it's not a friendly place for us. And the things that we do, you and I, our skills, our skill set, whether it's entertaining, singing, dancing, comic, podcaster, or, a accountant or a lawyer or a doctor, whatever your skill set is, AI is snapping at your heels. And that really scares me because I'm not adapting well. I'm not one of these young people who are, I'm making $1 million a month. I'm not. And so I had some melancholy.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
So just my message to you is melancholy over the holidays is normal. If you get it, don't think you're abnormal. You're not. Depression over the holiday is normal. More of our relatives die over the holidays than any other time. More people die in the month of December over the holidays if they're in nursing care or elder care. Many of you, I lost my mom and dad December 26th and December 28th. Or maybe it was the 27th and 29th. I'd have to look. But it was the weekend between Christmas and New Year that I lost both my parents, 12, 18 years apart, something like that, 16 years apart. So certainly depression over the holidays is normal. Just don't get stuck in it. Don't get stuck in that rut. And wanting to change is normal over the holiday season. Getting ready for the new year, planning your life is just normal over the holiday season. So with me, as we'll be doing the introspection, look, I have a lot more to give. I have a lot more to offer. And I want to find ways to do that. That are lucrative, obviously. And, I'm not done being me. My neck may be sagging and my teeth may be separating and all the things they pick me apart for on TikTok may in fact be happening because that's what they do. All of my videos on TikTok, they attack my speech. They attack my looks. They never once attack the issue unless it's to say Biden. These MAGA people, all they can do is personal attacks or Biden, 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 Biden. That's it. They're two-note ponies. Personal attacks or Biden, Biden, Biden. And that's because that's what their leader does. And they're just parrots. They're just parrots of what their leader does. Their leader says Biden, 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 and personal attack, personal attack, personal attack. Whether it's a member of the media, whether it's an opponent, a rival, someone that is not on board with them, it doesn't matter. Trump attacks people personally. He's a despicable, horrible, evil person. He is the lowest scum of the earth. And I'm just tired of hiding that. I'm tired of not saying how I truly feel about him. He is scum. And now we have Pete Hegsberger, Hegsworth or whatever his name is, war criminal. Now, look, George W. Bush is a war criminal, unindicted war criminal. Many of the things George W. Bush did were war crimes. Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, asking to be pardoned. They have already indicted Netanyahu in the world court on war crimes. He is a war criminal. And now we have one here, but we have several. George W. Bush, war criminal. George Herbert Walker Bush, who is now dead, unindicted war criminal. There may have been some instances where Barack Obama and, yes, Biden and others, I was very uneasy with Barack Obama doing drone strikes that were basically unauthorized and against targets that weren't necessarily the most military of targets, family weddings and things like that to take out, somebody so they take out a whole wedding. I think many presidents have committed war crimes, but in this case now they're going after Pete for being a murderer. He's a murderer. They did a strike on a Venezuelan, quote, drug boat. Why? The president is about to pardon a major drug trafficker. So why are we even fighting a war on drugs when the commander-in-chief sees fit to pardon the drug trafficker? But they attack this boat, right? And they do their bombs. The boat is disabled. And then they go back because there were survivors and shoot the boat again. Now, our policy is if people survive an attack, we take them prisoner, we capture them, whatever it might be. We don't go back and annihilate them. And we did. At the behest of Pete, who was working at the behest of Trump. It is a war crime. That's a war crime. Now, the notion of war crimes really, war is a crime. Okay? So to put those two words together, only humans would do that. War is a crime. It is a crime against all humanity to fight a war. And you're like, well, sometimes you have to. Yeah, I'm not saying that they're unjust. I'm simply saying that war is a crime. It is a terrible blight against humanity. Both sides suffer in a war. Nobody wins. And they're never ending for the most part. And so the notion that you can commit a crime when your job is to kill is amusing. Only humans would put rules on war. Okay? Only humans would do that. Because that's stupid. You tell a soldier to go and kill, but only kill threats. Don't kill civilians. Well, if they're the enemy, why not? If Iranians or Iraqis or Afghanis or Russians or whomever, if they're the enemy, then why not kill them all? No. Just the soldiers. Okay. So war is a crime. So the notion that we put those two words together it's like jumbo shrimp, compassionate conservative. They're just two words that don't belong together. But there we have it. And so now Pete is probably going to, but why? Unless he's tried at The Hague, unless he's tried at a court outside of our jurisdiction, unless he is sentenced by someone outside of our jurisdiction, Donald Trump will just pardon him. Donald Trump's not going to let his Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War go down for this. He'll pardon him. So this is all, I know that we need to bring these people to account, and we do. But the problem is, until you bring the head of the snake into account, Donald Trump, for his crimes, then whatever happens below him doesn't matter because they're going to get pardoned. So you can go through the machinations of trying to convict Pete of war crimes. I think just the way he looks is a crime. The way he talks is a crime. The way he hides his gayness is a crime. Oh, did I say it? I did. The biggest homophobes in the world are men that want to have a gay experience. That's been proven scientifically. Okay? So all you haters out there of mine on TikTok and Instagram and such, all of you that post all the homophobic stuff, we all know you really want to sleep with me. So, it's scientific fact. So Pete, I truly believe, when under the imbibing of alcohol, would probably swing both ways. But that, who cares? I don't care. What I do care about is he is a war criminal. He should not be in charge of the Department of Defense. Maybe, just maybe, this will get him removed. But who's going to put in his place? Today, one of his lawyers was deemed an illegal appointment. The lawyer that, who is it? What's her name? She has a name, and her appointment has been deemed illegal, which is why a case has been thrown out against Comey and such. What is her name? Oh, let me find it. Alina Habba, Trump's former lawyer, is unlawful U.S. attorney, appeals court says. Unlawfully serving as the U.S. attorney for New Jersey. So, you know. But again, these people don't care about the law. That's why, yeah, sure, Pete's a war criminal. Absolutely. He murdered people. He's a murderer. Why don't we just call that what it is? He's not a war criminal. He's a murderer. He ordered the murder. The boat had already been attacked. It was disabled. He ordered the remaining people on board murdered. He is a murderer. Let's just call it as we see it on this December 1st, honey. And what will happen to him? Well, whatever does, he'll be pardoned. He will be pardoned. Thank you. In the chat room at youtube.com/Really Karel, they were giving me the name Haba. Thank you so much. Sandy says, I've always gotten depressed during the holidays. It's worse after Christmas because there's been such a buildup, and then it's just over. Yes. There are these old videos going around online now. It says, you don't know what it feels like to go from this to that. So one restaurant that influencer, told the world about and then was crowded with lines out the door is suddenly empty. And a performer posted him on stage. And then afterwards, him in his room by himself in the hotel just watching TV. I know that feeling. Okay? There's nothing. It is so frigging depressing after a show. Why do you think we entertainers surround ourselves with people after a show? Because to go from that to down here, it's depressing. And the holidays are the same way. And I'd like to talk about Pete, but I think the holidays are a more important topic because we are told to be happy. Okay? It is drilled into our head. You will be happy, God damn it. You better fucking be happy. Jolly Christmas, happy Christmas, blah, 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 blah. So we are told to be happy. But there's guilt that comes with the holiday. Look, all of my friends are asking me what I want for Christmas. And the truth is, I now know why old people get socks and underwear and such. A, because we need them. But B, because the things we really want, most people can't buy us. I want 2 things for Christmas. 2. And no one in the world is going to get them for me. Nobody. Maybe myself. I want a new Vitamix blender. My blender broke. And I'm a cook. I use a blender. My blender broke. And I want the Vitamix Ascent X5. On sale, it's $5.99. On sale. And that's today. The sale ends today. The other thing I truly want is a new motorcycle helmet. And I need one. And they're between $600 and $800 for a good motorcycle. I want a Schuberth or a Shoei because they're the best, and my head deserves it. So no one's going to buy me a $600. Well, Daniel Charleston would have, but he's dead. But no one other than him would buy me a $600 blender for Christmas because no one can afford it. I mean, I really want the Vitamix Ascent X5. I really do. I also want a food processor. I want the Breville that does cubing. Because my food processor broke. So the lid broke and you can't buy the lid. So anyway, no one's going to get me that. So short of that, I'm just telling everyone to just give me what you want. I told my niece and nephew, get me maple syrup. They're like, really? I go, I use a ton of maple syrup. It's expensive. Get me cashews. I love cashews. I use a ton of cashews. I just made the best non-dairy creamer out of cashews. 1 cup of soaked cashews, 1 cup of oat milk, homemade, and a cup and a half of water, some vanilla, and 6 dates. All whizzed up, delicious creamer. Because I don't want any oil in my creamer because of my triglycerides. Or not my triglycerides, my LDL. So anyway, but we're told, and I want to get bigger gifts for my family, but I can't afford it. I got Jake and Ari a $75 gift card each for their bookstore in town. A lot of people want gift stores from bookstores, which is great. So Jake and Ari, I got them, so that's $150. And then Emily, oh my God, my niece's wife, Emily, I asked her what she wanted for Christmas. She said, batteries for power tools. I burst out laughing. And she says, what's so funny? I go, the lesbians asking me for batteries for power tools. It still tickles me. She's getting batteries for it. And then Heather wanted a pizza stone and baking trays. So I spent about $400 on the 4 of them. And that's about all I got to spend. So I'm just going to get little gifts for Steve and Hannah and some people at the park. And then my cards, I got to get cards and mail them out. That's $50, $60. So money is tight. And we all want to do more than we can. We're told to be happy. We're told to rejoice and sing and to be grateful for the things we have. But we all see the things slipping away. You know, mortgages, they're trying to do 50-year mortgages now. Car loans they're trying to extend because no one can afford anything. Groceries, Black Friday should have been at the grocery store. Because I went shopping at Albertsons 2 days ago and spent $170, and I'm like, what did I get? You know? So the holidays are rough. I'm not one of these people that think, oh, they're all just, no, I think the holidays are the roughest time of the year emotionally. I really do. Because we have so much conflicting stuff happening. We're told to be happy, but there's stuff that makes us unhappy. We're told to be grateful, but then we have fear with Trump in office and the economy the way that it is and, all of that. So the holidays are the most schizophrenic time of year. Be happy, be sad, be happy. All right, when we come back, pardoning criminals. Yahoo has asked for one. Pete will get one. We're pardoning a cocaine czar. I probably snorted some of his cocaine back in the day. Not going to lie about it.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
All right, I got to take a moment and talk to y'all seriously about my music. I love making music, and it's getting harder and harder and harder. I have no money for promotion of the new single. It cost hundreds to try to get it on playlists and everything, and I just don't have that. And the label doesn't either, so we're just going to hope for the best, which doesn't really work. But, what can I do? At least it's going to be out in the world. But one of the things that you can do is go to Spotify or go to Apple Music. Type in Karel, Karel, I Dance Because. Okay? Have I even done this? Have I? I don't think I've done this for myself. Let me launch. Go to Apple Music or, as I said, Spotify or Amazon Music, however you get your music. All right? And let's see what comes up. Let's type in Karel, I Dance Because. Click that. It does not pop up yet, does it? No, not yet. It should. It should be available for pre-order. So what's going on here? Why do I not see it? That's very odd. See this again, I'm telling you to go pre-order Karel I Dance Because, and it's not coming up. So Cubas, it comes up on, let's see what else. Really, Karel, YouTube? No, it's not coming up on the pre-orders. Wow. I wonder why. I'll have to ask the label about that. Swishcraft Records. I see it under, I see it. So let me click on Apple. Click on my, it's not coming up. For pre-order. That's a problem. See, because here I was going to tell you, please go pre-order. Please go pre-order. We got to get pre-orders. We got to get pre-orders. And you can't. You can't pre-order. So that's a problem. So I will figure that out. Figure out why we can't pre-order. But when it comes out December 6th, I will need you to go and download it, stream it. I want a lot for the song. I'm hoping good things will come from the song. And it really, means a lot to me to have this song coming out. It's a song that's very dear to my heart. It's about, and we're going to talk about World AIDS Day today. It's about the people who have gone on before, who have died of HIV/AIDS, and how I still dance because of them. So When it comes out, December 6th, please go stream and go like, go bookmark Karel I Dance Because. And I'm about to send a note to Matt Consola, who is my record label. As small as he is, he tries his best. But I can't pre-order I Dance Because. What's up? Okay. So, yes, please. I need your help with my music. If you haven't streamed Do You Want a Funk, if you haven't seen the video yet, please go to my website, reallykarel.com, or go to my YouTube, which is youtube.reallykarel.com, youtube.reallykarel.com. My name is spelled Karel. So please, participate in my music. I need more of it to happen. That's still something AI can't do, go tour live. So if we get enough people listening to my music, I'll be able to get booked. And also, the song I Dance Because plays into the topic today of World AIDS Day, because today is World AIDS Day. I remember when World AIDS Day was started, and in the part 2 of the show, we are going to talk about that. So, my question to you down below today, question of the day, what do you think is going to happen to Pentagon Pete? Will he be convicted of a war crime? And if he is, will he ever serve any kind of meaningful sentence, or will Donald Trump just pardon him? You know, will he just pardon him? Because it appears to me that's what's going to happen. That, yeah, he'll probably be tried. And by the way, the shooter that killed the National Guard, this guy was a red flag. Trump granted him asylum, not Biden. But this guy was just a red flag. Social workers were like, he hasn't left his room in a week. He's become detached. Every single sign that someone's going to become a mass killer. And guess what? He became a mass killer. And terrible in where was it? The Northern California, terrible mass shooting over the holiday. Kids, people shot at a birthday party. You know, they're at a birthday party next to like a bowling alley or something. And 4 people killed and 12 injured. Just another day in America, right? Happy holidays, mass shooting. Okay. I watched a rom-com. I watched this rom-com last night on Netflix. It's called The Christmas Heist or something. It's very cute. It's from London. Very cute rom-com formula. You know, no real big drama. No one dies. It's very, very cute. I decorated and stuff, and it was very, very fun. But yeah. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about World AIDS Day, and that topic is very dear to me since I lost most of my friends to HIV/AIDS. So we will talk about what it means to have HIV/AIDS, both back then and in the world today. So we're going to talk about that. I'm also going to be reading more of your comments in my live chat room, which is live from 10 to 11 every day. And that's at youtube.com/reallykarel. But if that's too much for you to remember, just go youtube.reallykarel.com and it takes you right to my YouTube channel. Let's see. Yeah, Christmas music. I'm always torn on Christmas music. Christmas music is some of the most depressing fucking music around. Oh, yeah, there's the happy songs. But most of them are really, really sad. Have yourself a Merry Little Christmas from Meet Me in St. Louis. If you know the story behind the song, it's really sad. Dad's off at war. They're losing their house. You know, through the years, we all will be together if the fates allow. Until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. Depressing. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. I'm not going to have a white Christmas. That was a wartime song. In fact, most of the holiday carols that we sing are wartime songs written by Jews who don't celebrate Christmas. And they're depressing. I was listening yesterday to my Christmas selections, and I'm like, God, some of these songs are just so depressing. All right. We lost our brother-in-law, Allen, to AIDS early in the epidemic. We were close. We miss him daily. Oh, Granny. Well, we're going to talk about those people when we come back. Part 2 of the Karel Cast coming right up. Oh, Jewel. And Jewel. And Jewel.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
All right, it is World AIDS Day, December 1st. We're going to talk about it and why the United States has chosen to ignore it, the homophobic assholes in Washington, D.C. And we're also going to talk about, I don't know, I have notes. That's what I have notes for.
Uncensored, unfiltered, unhinged. It's the Karel Cast. Listen daily on your favorite streaming service.
DJ, play the Christmas song. Oh, Cher. I love Cher's Christmas album. It's really a great album. That one's not depressing. There's very few depressing songs on it. And it's got the single, DJ, play the Christmas song. Oh, she's fabulous. Love her. National treasure. Happy birthday over the holidays. Bette Midler just turned 80, and that was a knife in my heart. It really is a knife in my heart. My icons. Barbra Streisand is 3 years old. Bette Midler, 80. I still listen to the first Barbra Streisand album. A Jew made a Christmas album. I'm not the first. Well, I still listen to the first Barbra Streisand album, but the first Barbra Streisand Christmas album, because she's got 2 now. Or maybe 3. But I listened to the first one. It's got I Wander as I Wonder, or I Wonder as I Wander, whatever. It's got Silent Night. It's got, oh, so many. The Best Gift I Ever Got. Didn't really weigh a lot. It's got, oh, God. Although it's been said, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. She does the original version of White Christmas, which had the opening, the sun is shining, the grass is green, the orange and palm trees sway. There's never been such a day in Beverly Hills, L.A., but it's December the 24th, and I am longing to be up north. That's the original opening of White Christmas. So, Christmas, okay, today is World AIDS Day. Now, there was a time where I wondered why AIDS got its own day. I was like, we don't have World Herpes Day. We don't have, World Chickenpox Day, World Gonorrhea Day, World Syphilis Day. In my 20s and 30s, I was wrong about a lot of stuff. And I wrote really fabulous editorials that were wrong. In fact, most of my first book, You Can't Say That, I've gone back and reread the editorials, and about half of them, I was wrong. And that's the beauty of aging. You look back and say, well, I was passionate and I made a point, but overall, I was wrong. I didn't see the value in World AIDS Day. I didn't. But now I do. And the fact that the United States has decided to not commemorate or celebrate, it takes me right back to the crisis. So during the initial AIDS crisis, gay men were dying and were invisible. We were hidden in our community. People didn't want to see that. When they went out to a bar, they didn't want to see someone with Kaposi sarcoma. So they tended to isolate people with HIV/AIDS. Some didn't, but many did. And the country certainly didn't want to see us, didn't want to see us dying, didn't want to see us suffering, and didn't want to acknowledge it. Didn't even want to act like it was happening. And that's why World AIDS Day came around, because so many people were ignoring it, were ignorant about it, were mean about it. AIDS has always been used as a source of homophobia. AIDS has always been associated with the gay community, even though in Africa and other nations it is not the gays. More straight people have died of AIDS than gay people. And I don't think people realize that. And I've lost countless friends to HIV/AIDS, and in some way I lost Andrew to it, in some way. Because the drug that he was on, the protease inhibitor Crixivan, he was on a drug study. That drug raised his lipids and caused the problem that killed him. So I've lost a lot to AIDS, half of my life. And the fear that we all had, the bargaining with God every time you went to the health department to anonymously take an AIDS test, because if you took it at your doctor and it came back positive, you would lose your insurance. Yep. All of us used to have to take anonymous AIDS test at the health department, which took 10 days. Now it's instant. Because if we came back positive at our doctors, our insurance would cut us off. We'd be left with a killing disease and no health insurance.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, and no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
So in the United States, each and every year, okay, the annual death toll from HIV/AIDS is about 20,000 adults diagnosed. And let's see. No, deaths. I'm sorry. 20,000 deaths. 19,310 deaths among adults. Now, that's not as many as at the height. If you think about it, 4,496 deaths amongst persons aged 13 and older with diagnosed HIV for 2023. They're not trusting that data because they're saying, how can we go from 19,000 down to 4,000? In 2022, about 8,000 people died with HIV as a contributing cause of death. So thousands and thousands of people die every year in the United States of HIV/AIDS. It's not gone. Let's just take the low estimate. Let's take the low number, 4,496. Let's say that's how many died. All right. Let's see if my watch can do this. What is 4,496 divided by 365? The answer to that is 12 a day. 12 people every day, or one every other hour. Every 2 hours in America, someone dies of AIDS. Every 2 hours. This is not a disease that's gone. There is still no cure. That's the other myth, that young people, these young gays, they go on PrEP, which is something I don't really agree with, but if it's keeping them from being infected, okay, great. But they go on this PrEP, and then they still come up with HIV/AIDS because they're having unsafe sex, and PrEP is not 100% effective. And while there have been great advances, like this new shot you can take, and you only have to take it 4 times a year, it is still not a vaccine, and there is still not a cure. And in the U.S. alone, 1 person every 2 hours dies of AIDS. So on World AIDS Day, we need to remember that we still need to be vigilant about safe sex. If you're on PrEP, that's great. If you're not, use condoms. Of course, with me, I don't have to worry. I haven't had sex. But when I do have sex again, if I have sex again, it will be safe sex. Just period. I'm not going to have unsafe sex. And there is no cure. Protease inhibitors are rough drugs. Now, in the early days of AIDS, the first drug to come around was AZT. And everybody was so grateful for it because at least there was a drug. AZT is what's called a non-nucleoside reverse transcript inhibitor. I know most of you are like, what? But when you are in the AIDS community, you learn a lot quickly. And non-nukes, as they became known, non-nucleoside reverse transcript inhibitors, they were the first game in town for AIDS. And for years, AZT was the only drug. And people died. And AZT was horrid on the system. Oh, Andrew used to get such horrible headaches. He'd have no appetite. He'd throw up. AZT was not an easy drug to take. Then another drug came around, 3TC. And 3TC worked a little differently than AZT. So combined, they would keep people alive longer than the 12 to 18 months that you normally had from diagnosis to death. Think about that on this World AIDS Day. In the early day of AIDS, it was 18 months after you got the diagnosis. When Andrew got his diagnosis, the doctor at, 20-something years old, the doctor told him to basically put his affairs in order, check off on his bucket list, and get ready to die. He was told when he was 23 years old he had AIDS. I told him he would make a beautiful 30-year-old. He didn't think he'd live that long. He did. He died at 34. So he lived 12 years with HIV, AIDS, or more than that. 12, 13 years. And 3TC came around, and then a drug called commemorate, which was AZT and 3TC combined. Those drugs were very harsh on the person. The side effects were almost as bad. And that just tried to treat the HIV virus. Remember that AIDS doesn't kill you on this World AIDS Day. Let's talk about it. AIDS doesn't kill you, okay? The opportunistic infections that it leaves you open to are what kill you. Kaposi sarcoma, a rare skin cancer that was only seen in Mediterranean men. Pneumocystis pneumonia, a form of pneumonia, again, that only happened. Most of us have the virus in us for pneumocystis pneumonia, but our body keeps it at bay. MAC, which affected the eyes, which they could get from cytomegalovirus, which you could get from cat litter or in your garden. That would kill you. First, it would put you blind. So there were many things that killed people with AIDS. AIDS has never killed one person, ever. Nobody dies of AIDS. You die of the opportunistic infections. Your immune system just gets so zapped. Or the drugs murder your system, and you end up dying because of the drugs. Liver failure, kidney failure, heart failure. AIDS itself doesn't kill anybody. And remember what it stands for: acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Okay? So AIDS is an umbrella. And all of these different diseases fall under that umbrella. And they're the diseases that people with the compromised immune system that AIDS gives get. So people went along with AZT, 3TC, commemorate, other drugs, and they worked, but not that great. But life expectancy went from 18 months to 2, 3, 4 years even with these drugs. Maybe even 5 years. I mean, at a time where people were dropping dead, we'd take another year or two of their life. Then Stanford started a drug study, along with some other universities, for what would become known as protease inhibitors. And they attack the virus differently than the non-nukes. And what these do is they inhibit, James Schnabel in the chat room could tell you better, they inhibit a part of the virus, the protease, which is, I believe, a protein. They inhibit it, and thus the virus can be seen by the immune system and attacked. Because AIDS, remember, infects the immune system. And the protease inhibitors keep it out of the immune system. They make it so it can't enter. It strips the protease off of the virus so the virus can't insert itself into your T cells, because that's what AIDS does. It inserts itself into your immune cells, into your CD4 cells, your T4 cells. It inserts itself into those cells, and then your very immune system becomes your enemy. Well, protease inhibitors found a way to prevent that. And so viral loads went from hundreds of thousands in your blood to non-detectable. Dr. David Ho, Magic Johnson's doctor, was the doctor that helped invent protease inhibitors. I've met him, talked to him, interviewed him. So suddenly, AIDS became a more manageable condition, a chronic condition. Still deadly, like diabetes, but chronic, like diabetes. And that's good, but it also got people complacent. It also got people thinking, oh, well, if I get AIDS, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. You don't want HIV. You just don't want it. And on this World AIDS Day, I think it's important for you to understand the genesis of how it went from people dropping dead in 12 months from diagnosis to living multiple years to where now gay men are with HIV/AIDS actually have to worry about diseases of getting old, heart disease, kidney failure, lung disease, all of that, because AIDS itself and the syndrome, Kaposi's and pneumocystis and the various other diseases aren't taking hold anymore. So they're living long enough to have heart attacks, and they're living long, to get cancer, regular cancers, So that complacency has made young people forget that every 2 hours in the United States, someone passes away because of complications of HIV. And when you have a White House now that is not participating in today's events, raising awareness, funding, they cut funding for drugs, life-saving drugs. They're now talking about funding obesity drugs, but not HIV drugs. That's how cruel Donald Trump has become and the nation under him. Now, so many of you lost very close friends to HIV/AIDS. A lot of you live in the San Francisco area, a town that was ravaged. There were so many garage sales. I remember one time Andrew and I went to San Francisco, and there were garage sales all over the Castro, like everywhere. And we asked the guy we were with, we're like, why are there so many garage sales? He said, from dead people, people that have died. And Andrew looked at me and said, never sell my stuff at a garage sale. And I never did. But it was so moving. And then in San Francisco, a lot of the queens got buzz cuts. And everyone wondered why. Why are all the queens, bald or shaved heads? And they did it in solidarity for those with HIV/AIDS who were on medications that made their hair fall out. So San Francisco was ravaged. New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, Austin, Miami, just ravaged. I've lost so many close personal friends, Lorenzo Clark Braxton, Gary Alexander, John DeLisi, Tracy Montclair, on and on down the line I could go. I've lost so many very close personal friends to HIV/AIDS that I can't even count anymore. Imagine going to a party to say goodbye to your friend because you knew after the party they were going to kill themselves. I've done that. Imagine bringing something to the party so you could help them kill themselves. I've done that. Where we each set something down and it can't kill them, but when combined with something, it can. We've come a long way, but not far enough. Until there is a cure, we have not come far enough. Because too many people still die. Too many people still die from HIV/AIDS. So on this World AIDS Day, just remember it's not cured. Protease inhibitors are great and they have saved countless lives, but they are not the be-all, end-all treatment. That they're like insulin. Insulin works for some people, doesn't work for others. After a while, stops working. These are great drugs, but the drugs are rough. Protease inhibitors have huge side effects, liver failure, kidney damage. So just remember on this World AIDS Day that we still have a distance to go. We're not across the finish line yet. And one person dying every 2 hours in America of HIV/AIDS, that's too many. And worldwide, I'm sure it's higher. There's still underdeveloped nations and African nations and other places where there's still stigma, where the drugs aren't available, where they don't have PrEP therapy because Donald Trump cut it off. We were providing PrEP therapy to high-risk nations to stop the spread of HIV/AIDS. And guess what? We've now cut that off. And he won't even acknowledge HIV/AIDS today. What a horrible man. What a horrible administration. What a horrible country. Once again, I've been watching a lot of stories recently about, gays. And on this World AIDS Day, I was also reminded of a soldier, a Navy soldier, who died. His name was AllenRSchindler Jr. And he was beaten to death by two other Navy officers, or not officers, but, soldiers. And then the Navy covered it up. And it was in the 90s, right before, it's because of him that Don't Ask, Don't Tell pretty much happened. But I was reminded about how horrible this country has historically treated me and people like me, and not in the really distant past, just in the recent past. And now I see us going back there again. I see Donald Trump trying to turn the clock back to the 80s and 90s when it comes to LGBTQ people, and that includes AIDS. Shame on him for not recognizing today. And shame on the world for forgetting that AIDS still kills too many vibrant, wonderful people. And we need a cure.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
Sandy in the chat room at youtube.com/Really Karel. It amazes me how unconcerned young people are nowadays in regards to AIDS. When I was a young adult in the late 80s, it was a scary time. It still is a scary time. They're just too stupid to know it. I mean, no offense to young gays, but they're idiots. They're absolute idiots when it comes to AIDS. They think PrEP works. They're out there swapping body fluids. It's a scary time now. And there's Mpox, COVID. There's other diseases that have come along. Sex is dirty. Let's just be real. In today's world, you should not be swapping body fluids with anybody unless you've both been together for a while and tested. And even then, Andrew and I had safe sex all the time because he had HIV, but if he didn't, we would have still had safe sex. Why? I don't trust my health to a man's fidelity. And that bothers some people that I've dated. But the fact is, men cheat. Women do too, but gay men, I think, cheat more than women. And I'm not going to be one of these people that I've had people on my show, mostly women, that only slept with one man their entire life and have AIDS because he went out and cheated. And so it is not gone. And it still is scary. AIDS is still frightening to me. And the fact that young gays are not frightened by it just means they're ignorant to what really happened, how it happened, and the fact that it's still happening. And that is the gay community's fault. We wanted to get past AIDS because of the stigma and because of the violence. We were hurt and harmed and killed because of AIDS. People saw us as spreaders of AIDS, so they would kill us. And so the gay community tried to move past it. But we're not past it. There is still no cure. All right. Well, we've got Pete, the war criminal. Will he be tried? Will Trump commute the sentence? Probably. Will he be tried? Probably not. We'll see. We got Netanyahu asking for a pardon. That war criminal and killer. All these murderers and killers asking for pardons and, not being prosecuted. Pete's a killer. Our Secretary of Defense is a murderer. He ordered a second hit on a boat that killed people that may have been innocent. That's a murderer and a war criminal. Do with that what you like, but he's a murderer. We have a president insulting the media. We have a president not acknowledging World AIDS Day. We have a president picking a fight with Venezuela, of all places. There's got to be something there he wants: oil, rare earth minerals, whatever. It's not about drugs. He's lying when he says it's about drugs because he's pardoning a drug lord, a cocaine lord. So it can't be about drugs. It's certainly not about putting America first or making America great. So I don't know what his beef with Venezuela is, but whatever it is, we're going to pay the price. Just like, he cut state programs for HIV/AIDS at the VA and other places. But he just, in the last year, has spent $72 million on golfing. You and I have spent $72 million to make sure the president can golf on weekends. And all that money that he's billing goes into his pocket. Every time he goes to Mar-a-Lago, he makes the Secret Service rent these rooms at huge prices. Every time he goes golfing, he's billing the government. $72 million we've paid for him to not stay in Washington, D.C., as people right now did not get their full SNAP benefits in November. People are starving and hurting in this country, and he has spent $70 million of our dollars to go back and forth to Mar-a-Lago. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Sam Giamo, Sam from KKGN. Do I know KKGN? Was I on KKGN? Is that Coos Bay? Is that the one in Coos Bay? Granny, lived to be 50. Here's now 74. His wife has died of AIDS. He's doing amazingly well, much to be thankful for, and Trump wants to cut funding for medical research. Yep. Trump hates science. He hates medical research. It's just, we live in the upside down. I just watched the first 4 episodes of the last season of Stranger Things, and they really should have dealt with the age. They really should have. They're like 25 and still in high school. Like, yeah, no. Millie Bobby Brown has a daughter. It's like, come on. But it's still incredible television. Very Spielbergian. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'd like to say it's not, but it is. It's great. And I watched the first 4 episodes. The next 3 come on Christmas, and then the final on New Year's Eve. And it's very nostalgic. It's set in the 80s. But then I look at it and think, oh, yeah, AIDS was about to happen. Because it's set in 83. AIDS came around in about 87, 88, 80, 85, 86, somewhere around there. Like musical chairs. The music stopped. We all had to sit down. Or those that wanted to live. And so we live in a world where war criminals collect government salaries, where Donald Trump pleads poverty for all kinds of things, but then is spending $70 million of our dollars to go to and from his Mar-a-Lago to go golfing. But last month they couldn't pay all the SNAP benefits. They never did say why. But a lot of them were, I bet you all think they were all funded 100% in full once the government reopened. Nope. Millions of people only got half their benefit. Some didn't get any. And they didn't, even after the government reopened, they didn't get their SNAP. And there's some people that haven't gotten it for December. People are starving over the holidays. What does Donald Trump do? Take off to Mar-a-Lago on our dime. Not recognize World AIDS Day. And all that says to me is that queers don't matter. We're back to that again. Gays, lesbians, trans, bi, we don't matter. We don't matter to the government. We don't matter to the GOP. We don't matter to MAGA. We don't matter. It's okay to pick on us, legislate against us, and let us die. We're right back there again. It's one of the reasons I don't want to stay here. I've really looked ahead to the next year, and I thought to myself, do I really want to stay here, even if the Democrats take the midterms? I don't know. If I can increase my income and go to a city that's metropolitan and like London, Paris, Lisbon, whatever, then, Dublin, I could be convinced. All right, I'll see you back tomorrow. I love you all. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am Karel. You be who you want to be, so I'm going to hurt you, buddy. Don't forget, keep looking for Karel, Karel, I Dance Because. The glitch should be fixed later today, and it should be available at all the stores for pre-order. So please go pre-order it. Like and subscribe and comment on the videos. It really does help. It helps promote us to the algorithm, the almighty. Meanwhile,
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karelcast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here.